I haven't told too many people this, but about a month and a half ago, I got really sick. And I don't know to this day what it was. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know if it was something different that's going around. I know something's been going around in New York, but I was really sick. I was having runny nose. I was having stuffy nose. I was having sore throat. I was coughing. I was kind of like, I was spitting up like mucus, sometimes blood, guys, sometimes even blood. And now that I don't work a 9-to-5 job anymore, I don't have health insurance. So for me to see a doctor, it would be really expensive. And on top of that, I've never been a big hospital guy. I've never been a big doctor guy. I think I got that from my dad. You know, our parents are so influential on us, consciously and subconsciously. I think I got that from my dad. You know, anytime something was wrong with him, you know, he would always look into a natural remedy. I'm right under the train right now, and they're doing announcements. They'll probably be talking throughout this video, but that's okay. We're gonna work through it. And so I kind of took that from my dad, and I said, I want to treat myself naturally. I want to drink tea. I want to, you know, I want to get fresh air. I want to not stress as much. But I looked into these things, you know, about a month in. That's when I really started locking in on my, you know, on my health, because when I got sick, I was in a lot of debt, and I was just starting one of my new video editing jobs, and I really wanted to make a good impression. And so I spent days and nights editing, you know, all types of hours. I wasn't going outside. I wasn't really talking. Like I wasn't really communicating with too many people. And I was really like just kind of bunkering down and keeping to myself, and just trying to work through it on my own. And that really hurt me. That really hurt me. I think that delayed my healing process, because the announcement kind of distracted me. But it really slowed me down, because I wasn't taking care of my health in the way that I had been previously. And I was stressing about finances. I was stressing about how I'm gonna pay off the debt that I'm in. You know, how am I gonna pay off all of the traffic tickets that keep, you know, adding interest as, you know, as you don't pay them in a timely manner. How am I gonna pay, you know, car insurance? How am I gonna pay rent? And it felt like things were tumbling on top of me. And so I was really forcing myself every day, you know, get on, you know, Amir, you got to get on your laptop, you got to work, you know, every day. And I say all that to say, guys, I really burnt myself out doing this. Quite literally, you know, quite literally burnt myself out, in a sense that like my body, mind, and soul were just done. They were just done. And it got to a point where I just didn't have anything left to give. And I really had to look, you know, turn to the inside and look in myself for what I need exactly. And I realized, like, wow, I'm walking around in my day-to-day, and like my shoulders are like this, you know, and I'm having to remind myself, like, hey, you know, relax your shoulders. Like you're like holding something, and you're like holding your breath in your day-to-day. And you know, I was stressing out. I wasn't eating good. I wasn't drinking my tea. And when I finally took that step back, and when I finally finished that month, I was working on a big project. I took a step back and I said, wow, Amir, you've really kind of let yourself go in the health department, and you're suffering for it. You're quite literally suffering for it, you know? I was sick for about a month and a half, guys. I've never been sick for a month and a half straight. And it was because I was stressing out. It was because I was burning myself out and I was running on fumes. I wasn't restoring what I was giving out. I wasn't replenishing. And I said that to say, man, we're all human. And as much as we want to overachieve, as much as we want to succeed and go above and beyond, at the end of the day, we're all human and we all need to replenish. And we all need to forgive ourselves and be patient with ourselves. You know, am I in the best financial situation right now? No, I'm not. And that's because of, you know, when I was a kid, it was because of my upbringing, right? It was because of where I was, you know, my parents and where I started. But as I get older, everything is on me now. You know, everything is on me now. And for those of you guys out there in a tough situation and you are an adult and you are older and you know, you've been an adult for a while, it's on you now. You know, it's on us now. We're all adults now. It's on us. We have the responsibility now for ourselves. And even some of us, when we have kids, right, or we have people who rely on us, now they're our responsibility as well. So we got to take care of ourselves first and foremost, make sure we're good. That way we can give and we can provide. Excuse me. See, that's residual from the sickness. Once we take care of ourselves and make sure we're good and we're whole and we're full, then we can start pouring into others' cups, our partners, you know, our family, our friends, our kids, if we have that, you know. And it felt good just taking a step back, you know. And I remember the first day I boiled some tea and I chopped up some ginger. My girlfriend recommended me make some ginger tea. I chopped up some ginger, put it in a pot, and I knew about ginger tea. It's just that, you know, when you're grinding and when you're like focusing and when you're like bunkering down and like trying to level up, get to that next stage, I just was not, it's like you just block everything out at a point. And like, I literally just blocked everything out and I was not thinking about my health. You know, I'm like, I'll be good. Like, I just got to get this, you know, I just got to get this done, but I'll be good. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way at all. You know, we only have one body. We only have one life. You know, they say health is wealth. So if we don't take care of this right here, this vessel that we have, what are we doing? You know, what are we taking care of if we can't even take care of ourselves? You know, my house got so messy. I wasn't cleaning my house. And everything is connected. You know, everything is connected. They say cleanliness is close to godliness. You know, once you correct self and you internally cleanse, you know, physically, mentally, spiritually, then you can start to give more, you can start to provide more value. And that's something that's very important to me, guys. That's something that's very, very important to me, is, you know, being a whole individual. That way I can give more. And I remember that first day I chopped up some ginger and made some tea. Man, something about self-care, it just hits different. It just hits different, man. You know? And you know, it was the tea, it was the letting go of stress, you know, and just saying, this is my situation. I am in this amount of debt. I have these bills coming up, but it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, you know? And at the end of the day, I can't exactly control the outcomes. I can only control my effort and my input. And that gave me comfort. You know, that reassured me. And that way I know, and you can know As long as we're putting in the steps, as long as we're putting in the steps, we don't exactly have to worry about the outcome. We can trust and we can be confident that it's all going to work out and it's all going to be okay. At the end of the day, God will make a way. I went to sleep early the other night. For the first time, I went to sleep early. And I was in my bed, I was snuggled up with my blanket, and I was just like, wow, this is a privilege. Like, this is really a privilege to lay down early and just know, like, I'm getting my full 8 hours. I might get even more than 8 hours. And I'm still gonna wake up at a good time because I went to bed early, you know? Oh man, there's nothing better than self-care. And when we master self-care, that's when things just flow. Things just flow, you know? When I get my self-care routines down, things just flow. And I'm not perfect. I'm still working on a better sleep schedule. I'm still working on a better diet. And it's this knowledge that I have that is so powerful. It's the knowledge that these things are going to bring results, because they have to bring results. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And then I remember, I wasn't playing sports. I wasn't playing handball. I like to play handball. And that's therapeutic for me. That's a big part of my life. Playing, going outside, going to the park and playing sports with friends. And I remember the first time I went out and I played handball, and I was like, wow. I left the park that day feeling so rejuvenated and so revived. I was like, wow, this really is therapeutic for me. And I went back to play again a couple, maybe 2 or 3 times throughout the whole month. And it just reminded me how important that is for me. And it's so important for me. For those of you who have hobbies that you're really passionate about, you know what I'm talking about. Like, we just need those things every now and then. And when we don't have it, we don't feel right. Something's off. Or we need it more than every now and then, Some of us have a hobby we like to do every day. You know what I'm saying? This has become a hobby for me, sitting here and talking to you guys every day. That's become a hobby for me. And it feels good. It's therapeutic. And it's these hobbies that also fall into self-care. And we got to remember these things. We got to remember these things. I really do not want to, I don't want to go through a sickness like that again, man. I really don't. And it made me value my health so much. Something about getting sick and having a stuffy nose that just makes you appreciate just being regular, just being able to breathe, Such a blessing. It's such a blessing. And, we realize how much of a blessing it is when we get that stuffy nose, when we get that sickness. When we're not sick, we're just, life is life. And that's another reason why I wanted to get the gratefulness jar for me and my girlfriend. So every week we're writing down something we're grateful for, and we're putting that sticky note in the jar. And then at the end of the year, we're gonna open it up and reflect on what we're grateful for. And maybe we open it halfway through the year. Maybe we check in quarterly. We'll see, but that's something that I think is important. Being grateful, man. Nothing beats being grateful. Because you realize how much you really have, and that there really is a lot of abundance, and you're not lacking as much as you think you are. And during that month and a half I was sick, I really felt, it's an ambulance passing, I really felt like I was missing something. I had this perpetual feeling of lack, and it did not feel good. It did not feel good. I'm reading a book now called Think and Grow Rich, and it mentions that the reason why most people are poor is because they fear poverty. You telling me being afraid of something is causing me to, like, it is causing that thing to have a negative, you know what I mean? But it makes sense, because when you're focused on, when you're focused on fearing something, you're not focusing on, like, all right, so for money, for instance, if you're so afraid of being poor, that's energy taken away from hoping you get rich, or praying you get rich, or just working towards getting rich. You know what I mean? And I think that's something a lot of YouTube channels fall into, a lot of content creators fall into, just looking at the numbers, and obsessing over the views and things like that. I saw somebody post a video, they said, YouTube is not, it's not in easy mode. It's not pushing smaller creators. And it's like, it just depends on how you look at it, because there's a bunch of success stories out there, so they're definitely pushing somebody. But those people might have posted a video or 2 or 3 or 4, and YouTube did not push it yet. So it's like, but then you stop and you give up. Some things just take more time than others, and a lot of things, they take time and they take consistency, and God wants that from you. God wants to know that you really want it, and when you show him that you really want it by putting in consistent efforts, you will succeed in everything you go after. You will succeed in everything you go after. I worked really hard on video editing for the last few years. Now I have 2 jobs video editing. Not 1, but 2, guys. Not 1, but 2 jobs doing video editing. I no longer work a 9-to-5 job. I left my 9-to-5 job with skills, but with no essential backup plan. And it worked out, and it's working out. It's always a work in progress. So I just wanted to get on here and remind you guys to take care of yourselves, forgive yourselves, right? Forget about perfectionism. Forget about just, I gotta get through things, and I can't make no mistakes, and it gotta be perfect, and it has to be quick. Take your time. Be patient with yourself. Forgive yourself, right? Sometimes we're gonna slip up. We're gonna mess up. The other day, guys, I did not record a video, and I was tempted to, like, get mad at myself. And I had to realize, like, this is something new for you, right? This is something new for me, right? I'm just now starting this, posting every day. I might miss a day. And it's okay. It's not the end of the world. And I had to put that perfectionist side of me in check and you know, once I did that, I felt free to make another video, you know. And I think later that night I made a video, and it's doing well. The algorithm is pushing it. So it's like, once you give yourself that self-care, you kind of enable yourself to work harder and to work more efficiently and effectively. And that's really, I think, the goal right now. You know, that's the goal. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hope you found some value here. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Peace.